Islam Makhachev previews his rematch with Tsarukyan and explains why this fight will be much different from their first clash, predicting a finish. With a month before his next title defense, Makhachev is approaching peak intensity in his training camp. He is in the US already, with Khabib acting as the de facto head coach instead of Javier Mendez, who is supposed to be the actual head coach, but cannot even control Khabib, who pushes Islam, Umar, and others to the limit and beyond. In his interview with DC, Islam even asked him to attend their training sessions to try to control Khabib and get him to bring the intensity down a bit. With Umar being a co-headliner in his title fight against Merab, Team Khabib has a very important event coming up, and Islam's fight is promising as well. The first fight with Tsarukyan turned out to be a closely contested, high-level grappling match with occasional striking exchanges. This time, Makhachev promises to be different and explains why he is confident he's going to finish Arman.
The first fight, and I don't know his background, He defends my wrestling. He give me just, he's tough. That's why he give me hard time. But now I know everything what he can do.
So you think you'll finish him?
I think yes. Charles, every round almost finish him. Do some guillotine, do some triangle choke, like everything very close. But I think I have more chance.
It's been a while since you fought. What has the champion been? What have you been up to? Like, what have you been doing? How have you improved in the gym since the last time you fought?
Man, I training really hard every camp, every time, non-stop. That's why I always improve. I still improving right now, and I love to fight. And now it's my goal to finish all questions. It's gonna be a huge fight for defense because he have all skills. He good in the striking, he good in the wrestling, grappling. That's why it's gonna be two high-level fighter fights.
Cory Sandhagen gives an update on his comeback timeline and shares who his preferred choice as an opponent would be. The Sandman has been itching to come back and fight since his loss to Umar in August. A closely contested fight resulted in a decision victory for Nurmagomedov, and despite the loss, Cory didn't lose much enthusiasm and support from fans. The person that perhaps was impressed the most by Sandhagen's performance was Umar himself, as he's repeatedly stated that he thinks the two will meet in the cage again, describing Cory as the most dangerous bantamweight in the division after himself. While Umar's fighting for the title next, Sandhagen is looking for an opponent. In his latest interview, he revealed that his most likely return time is March, but there is still uncertainty regarding the opponent. We can expect that to be sorted out relatively soon. From all of the possible options for his next outing, Cory prefers a rematch with Petr Yan. Considering the Russian has put his career path back on the right course, and with a win over Davison reminded the division that he's still a threat, this option is highly plausible.
I've never fought on a pay-per-view, honestly. I think my last maybe 4 fights have all been main events, and I'm approaching like being able to, I mean like championship fights, but I'm hoping to fight on that pay-per-view. I guess we'll see. I told him I'd main event too. I like being the main event. 5-round fights are a lot harder to get ready for than 3-round fights. So yeah, I'll take whatever they give me, really. I just kind of want to get back in it and start fighting again, because for a stretch there wasn't anyone to fight, and now a few guys are a little bit more freed up, so I'm hoping to get one of those guys and get back in the win column, maybe have a fight against O'Malley in the summertime, depending on what they're doing with him, and then hopefully fight for the belt at the end of the year. Man, I would love to fight Jan again. That's definitely one. I mean, me and Jan are both fairly young in the sport, and I don't really see either one of us going anywhere like outside the top 5 anytime soon. So Jan would be one that I definitely get back.
Khamzat Chimaev gets into a dangerous situation in Sweden after a gun gets pulled as a result of an altercation. The Chechen prospect is known for being involved in some interesting stuff from time to time. Sometimes it can be accidental, like getting into an altercation on behalf of his friends with drunk people in the street, or nearly retiring after a serious health scare, or pulling out of a fight following food poisoning. And sometimes it's not, like hanging out and admiring an authoritarian dictator of Chechnya, something that has caused him serious problems as it comes to his ability to enter the United States and compete on the biggest events in Vegas. But other than all of that, he's still a fan favorite because his performances have been impressive so far, and by dominating and brutally finishing Robert Whittaker in his last fight, Khamzat earned himself a title shot, and all he has left to do is wait for the outcome of Duplessis versus Strickland to find out who he is fighting for the title next. Meanwhile, he splits his time between Sweden and Chechnya, regularly trains and hangs out with the boys. In the latest podcast appearance, Khamzat revealed a dangerous incident that he was involved in while walking in the streets of Stockholm late at night with a couple of his friends. He shared this after the host asked him if he ever gets into conflicts with people in the street, as he did when he was younger, like kids do regularly, especially in the Caucasus region. The podcast was recorded in Sweden, but in Russian language. Here's what Khamzat said, quote, "No, not really. Situations can arise sometimes, but mostly in the gym. For example, I almost fought multiple people in my gym here when I first started, and later we became friends. But as far as street fighting, it's a little different here. It's more dangerous than back home. Especially lately, young people shoot each other in the middle of the day, and knowing that they will get 5 years or something at most, they feel like it's not big deal. That's the law here. Sometimes it's over drugs, sometimes other things. I recently was caught in the middle of something like that when me and 2 of the boys from the gym were walking to our car at night, and one of them got into an argument with a guy from a group that was standing nearby over the aggressive tone that the guy used when asking for money. He got scared or something and pulled out a gun, just showing it to us. We disengaged, went back to our car and drove away. Crazy shit," unquote. Aljamain Sterling refuses to accept his loss to Movsar Evloev. The former bantamweight champion believes he won the fight and reveals who he is aiming for sharing the cage against in his next bout. Sterling's career has been full of controversies and changing attitudes of fans, caused by his actions and rhetoric. This all began after the whole quitting thing that many thought he did in the first fight against Peter Yan, following an illegal strike. His fighting style hasn't been the most exciting lately, and after losing to Movsar in a fight that didn't offer the highest degree of entertainment, his attitude when reacting to his performance and the result hasn't been something that fans appreciate. Statements prior to this fight signaled his intention to retire after it. But in his latest conversation with Helwani, the former champion said that he has completely changed his mind as it comes to that, and the desire to keep competing is overwhelming. So, the Funkmaster isn't planning on leaving the sport anytime soon and talks about his next fight.
I could jumpstart my camp with the Umar camp and be ready for our March turnaround. Either him, Ortega, I heard he's going up to 155. I love Ortega. He's the man. Like, dude's super chill. But, I mean, we're not like best friends or anything, so I don't have a problem calling him out. It's not on anything disrespectful. You're like that. That's one of the homies I fought on the car with multiple times. I fought with him in Fresno, where it was a really bad night for me, a great night for him. I fought with him in Anaheim, where he won, but it was a way better night for me with my fight with Renan Barao and his fight with Renato Moicano. You know, he came back and finished the guy in the 3rd round and just showed his grit, even after taking a beating. You know, he's fought the who's of the division at this point. So I just think it'll be a great fight with 2 older guys. I think I'm a bit older, but 2 guys that have fought for the belt. I just think and he's got a good name value, you know.